In the last video, you learned how to write interview sub-questions. Those sub-questions gave your interview structure. They helped you decide what each part of the interview must help you learn. Now you are ready to turn those sub-questions into participant-facing interview questions. This is the moment where the architecture underneath the interview becomes language a participant can actually answer. This step matters because a strong sub-question is usually not the same as a strong interview question. A sub-question can sound formal, structured, and analytic. An interview question has to sound human, answerable, and grounded in experience. If you ask the sub-question directly, the participant may feel like they are being asked to analyze themselves. They may give a broad explanation, a short answer, or a response that sounds more like a conclusion than a lived moment. For example, a sub-question might be, how do learners describe beginning and continuing academic tasks when AI support is available? That is a useful planning question, but it is still too formal to ask directly in most interviews. The interview question needs to invite a moment. It might sound like, can you walk me through a time when you used an AI tool to begin an assignment? Now the participant has a place to begin. Notice what changed. The sub-question named the layer, beginning and continuing academic tasks. The interview question invited an example, a time when the participant started an assignment with AI support. The focus stayed aligned, but the language became answerable. Use a simple three-step move. First, identify the layer inside the sub-question. Second, decide what kind of lived detail you need. Third, write a question that invites that detail in participant-friendly language. The first step is identifying the layer. If your sub-question asks how participants describe beginning academic work, the layer is task initiation. If it asks how participants make sense of capability, the layer is meaning. If it asks how support changes over time, the layer is change. The second step is deciding what kind of lived detail you need. Do you need a moment, a sequence, a comparison, a feeling, a decision, or a reflection? This matters because different interview questions invite different kinds of data. The third step is writing participant-friendly language. This often begins with phrases like, can you tell me about a time? Can you walk me through? What was happening when? Or what did you notice? These phrases invite experience-level data. Action, context, sequence, emotion, and meaning. Let's return to the AI and dyslexia example. Central research question. How do learners with dyslexia experience independence when using AI tools during academic tasks? One interview sub-question was, how do learners describe beginning and continuing academic tasks when AI support is available? This sub-question focuses on the action layer. It asks what independence looks like in practice. Step 1. Identify the layer. The layer is task initiation and persistence. Step 2. Decide the lived detail needed. For this layer, you need a moment or sequence where the learner begins or continues academic work. A weak interview question would be, does AI help you start your assignments? That may sound clear, but it invites a yes or no answer. It also uses the word help in a way that can lead the participant toward a positive response. A stronger interview question would be, can you walk me through a time when you used an AI tool to begin an assignment? This asks for a moment, a sequence, and a concrete experience. You might also ask, what usually happens when you first open an assignment and decide whether to use AI? This question invites routine and decision-making without assuming that AI always helps. Now the interview has more than one way to enter the same sub-question. One question invites a specific example. Another invites a typical pattern. Both serve the same planning purpose. This is important. One sub-question usually becomes more than one interview question. The sub-question gives the focus. The interview questions create different ways for the participant to describe that focus. A second sub-question was, how do learners make sense of their own capability when they use AI support during academic work? This sub-question focuses on meaning. It asks how learners understand themselves in relation to support. Step 1. Identify the layer. The layer is meaning. Step 2. Decide the lived detail needed. For this layer, you need reflection grounded in experience, not an abstract definition of capability. A weak interview question would be, does using AI make you feel more capable? That question assumes the direction of the experience. It also invites agreement or disagreement instead of description. A stronger interview question would be, when you use AI during schoolwork, what do you notice about how you see your own ability? This invites reflection without assuming improvement. You might also ask, can you describe a moment when using AI changed how confident or uncertain you felt about your work? This version invites complexity. The participant can describe confidence, uncertainty, or both. Notice again that the questions stay close to human experience. They do not ask the participant to define capability. They ask the participant to notice how capability shows up in moments of schoolwork. A third sub-question was, how do learners describe changes in their independence as they continue using AI tools for academic tasks? This sub-question focuses on change over time. Step 1. Identify the layer. The layer is change over time. Step 2. Decide the lived detail needed. For this layer, you need comparison across time. A weak interview question would be, are you more independent now because of AI? That question assumes the answer and pushes the participant toward a simple before and after judgment. A stronger interview question would be, think back to when you first started using AI for schoolwork. What felt different then compared with now? This invites comparison across time. You might also ask, walk me through how the way you use AI has changed over time if it has. This version leaves room for no change, mixed change, or unexpected change. This is what good interview questions do. They invite the participant into experience without deciding the meaning in advance. Inside Step 3, it can help to write more than one question for a sub-question. One question might ask for a specific moment. Another might ask for process or sequence. Another might ask for reflection or meaning. For task initiation, a moment question might be, can you walk me through a specific time when you used AI to get started? A sequence question might be, what steps did you take from opening the assignment to beginning the work? A reflection question might be, what did that experience show you about working independently? You do not need every question type for every sub-question. This is a building strategy, not a script requirement. It helps you avoid writing only one broad question and hoping the participant gives you everything you need. Now let's apply the same move to the second example. Central research question. How do first-year teachers experience support during their transition into the classroom? One interview sub-question was, how do first-year teachers describe moments when support was needed, offered, or missing during their transition into the classroom? This sub-question focuses on lived moments of support. The layer is moments of support. The lived detail needed is a concrete moment when support was needed, present, absent, useful, confusing, or misaligned. A weak interview question would be, did you receive enough support as a first-year teacher? This may be useful later as a closing reflection, but by itself it is too evaluative and too broad. It does not invite the participant into a specific experience. A stronger interview question would be, can you tell me about a moment during your first year when you needed support? This gives the participant a concrete entry point without assuming whether support was available. You might follow with, what happened next? Or who, if anyone, became part of that moment? These follow-ups help move from the opening moment into sequence and relationship. Another sub-question was, how do first-year teachers make sense of the support they receive from mentors, colleagues, or administrators? This focuses on meaning and interpretation. The layer is meaning. The lived detail needed is reflection grounded in a specific experience with a mentor, colleague, or administrator. A weak interview question would be, was your mentor helpful? That question is too narrow. It reduces support to a simple evaluation. A stronger interview question would be, can you describe a time when support from a mentor or colleague shaped how you handled a classroom challenge? This gives the participant a concrete entry point while keeping the focus on lived support. This brings us to an important distinction: evaluation versus experience. Evaluation questions ask participants to judge something. Was it helpful? Was it enough? Did it work? Experience questions ask participants to describe what happened, how they moved through it, and what it meant. Evaluation is not always wrong. Sometimes it can be useful near the end of an interview. But if you begin with evaluation, you may miss the experience underneath the judgment. A participant may say, "My mentor was helpful." That is useful, but thin. If you ask for experience, they may say, "The first time a parent emailed me angrily, my mentor sat with me and helped me draft the response. That was the moment I felt like I had someone in my corner." The second answer gives you action, context, relationship, emotion, and meaning. That is the kind of data qualitative interviews are designed to generate. Use 3 self-checks as you write interview questions. First, can a participant answer this from memory or experience? If not, the question may be too abstract. Second, does the question avoid assuming the answer? How did AI make you more confident? Assumes confidence increased. What did you notice about your confidence while working on that assignment? Leaves more room. Third, does the question connect back to a sub-question? If not, it may be interesting but misaligned. Every interview question should have a reason to exist. A common mistake is writing questions that are too polished and too academic. How do you conceptualize your academic agency in relation to AI-mediated support? May sound sophisticated, but it is not participant-friendly. A stronger version would be, when you use AI for schoolwork, what do you notice about what you can do on your own? Another common mistake is writing questions that are too broad. Tell me about your experience with AI, may open conversation, but it does not guide the participant toward the layer you need. A stronger version would be, tell me about a time when AI changed how you started or continued an assignment. A third mistake is writing questions that are too leading. How did AI make you more confident? Assumes confidence increased. A stronger version is, what did you notice about your confidence while working on that assignment? Now try the practice move with your own study. Choose one interview sub-question. Underline the layer inside it. Decide what kind of lived detail you need. A moment, sequence, comparison, feeling, decision, or reflection. Then write one strong participant-facing question. If needed, write one follow-up that invites more detail. Check whether each question sounds like something a person can actually answer. Turning sub-questions into interview questions is where alignment becomes conversation. You are still protecting the research question, but now you are speaking in a way that invites human experience. You are no longer deciding what the interview needs to learn. You did that with sub-questions. Now you are deciding how to invite participants into the experiences that can help you learn it. A good interview question is not just open-ended. It is answerable. It gives participants a place to stand, a memory to enter, or a moment to describe.